Gentlemen, thank you for joining me again for another episode of Sportsden. I am Brian Eastman, and joining me in the booth tonight is Christopher Whalen once again. How are you doing tonight, and what do you think of this matchup?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to tonight. I think we got two really intense teams kind of going head to head, and it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top.
Well, you say intense teams. I mean, we know Dakota has been known for their physical, rough and tough play, but I can't say this is an intense matchup in terms of their overall records right now. Dakota, for the first time in years, sitting near the bottom of the league, whereas Huntsville is still at the moment inside the playoff contention right now.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But even despite their records, I think Dakota is still one of the most aggressive teams in the league, and it's been kind of odd to see them sitting so low in the rankings this year. I don't think they've kind of really gelled for some reason this year.
Well, you have to remember that they did end up losing Fenris in the free agency, and Malone is continuing to age. They have not found the fountain of youth yet. I hear they're still looking to continue his career a couple more years, maybe. Um, and they did bring in a couple rookies to the draft, and I just don't think they've been able to find that talent to replace Fenris, and I think that's why we've seen them struggle last year. They only snuck into the playoffs, and we see what losing Fenris has kind of done to this team this year.
Yeah, it's definitely been a kind of a rebuilding team for them. Hopefully, they can somehow uh, work together through the end of the season, or they might just write this season off and start looking next season if things continue this way.
D- don't tell Malone you just said that because he might bite your head off because Malone never writes a season off. Like you said, the team still goes into every game expecting to win, especially Malone does. And Huntsville's a very good team to go up against. The lineup itself, I mean, you look at Wendy Brown, uh, McCulkin, McCormick, York, and Ferhadovic, all very good players. Honestly, I would be very shocked if Huntsville did not make the playoffs this year, assuming that D'Angelo avoids any more groin injuries.
Yeah. Well, it's uh, been fun to watch Huntsville kind of grow as a team the last couple of years, especially uh, considering the relationship D'Angelo and Wendy have. I'm surprised that they work so well together on the court. I hear that off the court, that's a very explosive relationship, but you wouldn't be able to tell while they're playing. This team really just has got everything together, and especially the starting line really knows uh, how to play for each other.
Right, there's a lot of chemistry there, whether it's both good and bad. You can see some tension sometimes between the players, but for whatever reason, it works for them. They're it's producing results.
Yeah, chemistry is the word I was looking for. Thank you.
And it actually looks like they're getting ready to start heading onto the court. The coaches are just wrapping up their discussions with their players. And we're going to see Whitelatch and Verhodovic going for the tip-off, start the game. Verhodovic, an undrafted player coming into the league, ended up finding a starting role in Huntsville.
Yeah, she's one of those players who got a late start in her career,
And we're going to
but
see. No, you're right.
she's done really well for Huntsville.
Yeah, she's been great coming in. And we're going to see Huntsville with the ball to start with. Speaking of Verhodovic, taking the ball, passing over to York, the sophomore, rolls around the rim, gets the fall. Good early basket for Huntsville. Whereas we're going
Good
to
start.
Yeah, we're going to see Dakota, Catherine DeMille out with an injury, bringing in Allen, the rookie, forced to start now. We're going to see Malone, ball in the perimeter. Back over to Whitelatch. He's going to drive into the paint, go for a return shot. Same spot from where York shot. Gets the bucket back to answer right away. We're going to see Huntsville now passing down to McCormick. Seems to be waiting for someone to get open in the paint, but decides to pass back out to Brown, who comes up for the screen. Does a little spin move to get into the paint. The rookie matches up well against Brown and gets the rebound. Pass back over to Malone. Malone going to the paint, 2-man. Redfield, the offensive rebound, the putback. Nice offensive board from the Deer, and nice. A little surprised he didn't go for a dunk there, but can't complain, he made the basket. Where do you think these two teams are really going to fight? In the paint, perimeter? Because both teams have very strong post play.
So I think both teams are going to struggle getting into the paint tonight. Both teams have really solid defense here, and it's just going to be a struggle for either team to get close enough to the basket to make those shots.
Speaking of which, we see Malone take a three, no good. See McCormick driving to the paint, fouled by Silvius. Gets to go to the line for two. It's going to be interesting to see Catherine DeMille out with an injury. Was Dakota's other main perimeter shooter outside of Silvius. Whereas for Huntsville, you really see that coming in through McCulkin. DA is very strong pretty much from anywhere on the court. And then obviously you have Stout sitting on the bench. You can never count out the one-eyed Stout when it comes to shooting.
Yeah, well, I mean, despite his age, John Stode's still a legend. When he's on the court, he plays like a legend. So,
and good on both of them. Ties the score back up at 4 apiece. So Redfield left open in the paint. Poor transitional defense coming out. Easy layup.
He was blending in there. I didn't even see him there.
One of the downsides, I guess, maybe of how the court colorings are done, but whoever was marking him, York was just not prepared for him to be down the paint that early in the play. Speaking of which, we're going to see Whitelatch fouling Vradovic. Vradovic gets to go to the line now for 2. See how she does from the free throw line. She's not the most accurate free throw shooter. She definitely specializes more in that rough and tough, using her big body to get down into the post.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of Fox there.
No good on the first. And that's actually a little bit of a difference between these two teams. You have Huntsville, who really specializes in the strength. I mean, just looking at DA, he's a walking tank. And then you have Vradovic. I mean, she puts a lot of furs to shame when it comes to her biceps alone.
It's true.
But then you look at Dakota, who seems to specialize more on speed. I mean, Malone's lost a step or two, but he is still very fast in his old age.
Well, even looking at the Huntsville line, you've got DA, who's not a typical guard in that respect at all. You've got Wendy Brown, who's a little rough and tumble as well.
Right, and we just see a little goaltending called out, and the crowd is not happy about that, but the ball had hit the backboard, and once it hits the backboard, you can no longer hit it or put a paw on it. Easy call for goaltending, though. We're going to see Vradovic getting down to the post again. Looked like the challenge, Cassidy. Decides to go for a shot from the free throw line and gets it. Answers back after that goaltending with her own bucket. 8-7 now. Over to Silvius on the perimeter. Little spin move, but double team, passing over to Redfield. Back out to Malone, who does another little spin move. Gets into the paint. Fouled. No good on the shot.
The crowd is not happy about that.
No, they're not happy. Huntsville is very vocal.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. And they're going to cheer for their team, and they're going to boo the opponents. Malone, probably not the guy you want to send to the line. He usually makes his free throws. He makes the first. One of those veterans that does not crack under pressure, so when you're looking at the end of the game, this is one of the guys you do not want to foul. And good on the second, extends it to a 3-point lead. Brown with the ball in the perimeter, passing over to DA. DA back over to Brown, comes in for the screen, but decides to back off. Brown drives into the paint, inside the free throw line, gets a nice little shot. Allen bringing the ball up the court. It's going to be interesting to see how the rookie handles the pressure coming into tonight.
Yeah, it's a big game for him.
Silvius on the fadeaway from the free throw line, no good. Double team there, should have passed the ball away. Especially since Allen was left open on the perimeter. Vrhodovic matching up against Cassidy again. Spin move, defense comes over to help. Malone, though, can't put enough pressure on the Fox as she makes the basket. Huntsville lead for the second time this game. Silvia's dangerous cross-court pass to Malone. Malone steps back. No good off the side iron. DA with the rebound. McCormick with the ball on the perimeter. York ends up taking the shot from the top of the key. No good. Ball bounces around, ends up landing in Silvius' paw. Passing over to Allen on the perimeter. Ends up over in Malone's paws. Goes for the three. No good once again. Starting off a little cold tonight.
For both teams here.
I see an early basket. No good on the fadeaway. You're right. They started off very hot, and then they ended up fouling each other, and I guess that cooled down the momentum. They haven't made a basket really since the fouls started ringing in. Silvius on the perimeter. Shot clock's winding down. Passes over to Malone. Again, no good. Ball back over to Vrhodovic. Vrhodovic rims out. No good once again. We have come to a stall. 3 minutes without a basket. This would be the time for a coach to call a timeout to try and reset. Speaking of which, Malone steps out of bounds. Dead ball.
That's a rare mistake for him.
I wonder if his paw slipped a little on the floor trying to get into the... He was trying to get by his defender and just was not able to stay in the line.
Toe over the line there.
Yeah. DA with the ball back over to Brown. Brown, dangerous pass down low into the post. DA misses but gets his own rebound and puts it back himself. Nice basket.
I'm surprised that wasn't intercepted.
I mean, especially given how big DA is as a target, I guess it's a little easy for Brown to hit it towards him.
Yeah.
And Malone decides to go in on his own, draws contact. Again, the crowd not happy, even though that was blatant contact on him. I'm not too terribly worried about foul trouble for either team, besides Cassidy having occasional foul trouble. Most players on both teams are good in terms of staying in the games. We're not going to see a, well, I'm hoping we're not going to see a Sterling situation like we had earlier in the season where he was out by the third quarter, basically.
Well, neither team can really afford to lose anyone on the court.
Well, Dakota especially, given they're already down their point guard.
Exactly.
I'd argue that Huntsville has a player or two they could give up. Like you said, Stout sitting on the bench is, while he may not be able to put in as many minutes as he has in the past, he is a respectable veteran who can come in off the court, off the bench anytime. Malone go in the first. I believe so far all of his points have been from the free throw line. In fact, he's yet to make a basket. And good on the second. Brings it within one, and finally Huntsville's going to call a timeout now. Try and, I guess, reset their offense, because outside of that DA basket off of his own offensive rebound, that's been the only bucket in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised. Both teams are coming off in the first quarter here pretty cold. I can understand Dakota having a little trouble kind of getting their game together, especially missing DeMille. But Huntsville usually, especially at home, um, they're playing like they're in somebody else's court tonight. I don't know what's up with them.
Well, both teams seem to be really pressuring that post defense. Besides Malone taking the occasional shot from the perimeter, most of the basket attempts have been inside the paint. Perhaps they're trying to see who will break first. But at the rate they're going, they're going to have to move to the perimeter game at some point because right now neither team is succeeding in the paint.
Well, and that's what I was saying before. Is both teams have such a strong defense up close to the basket here that they're going to have to force things out a little farther and try to score the points that way.
Yeah, I'd say in terms of pure experience, I give the edge to Dakota. York is a second-year player, and Ferhatovic, I believe, is a 2014 draftee, so only a couple years under her belt as well. Speaking of which, we're going to see some nice moves coming out from her. Ball rolls around, but ends up falling. Some pretty moves down low in the paint for the Big Fox.
I think she's got half the team's points right now.
I think she does, actually. And only missed one from the free throw line. Blocked. Sylvia's blocked. I believe that was McCormick. But stolen.
Oh.
Recovered, though. Still in Huntsville's possession. York now with the ball. A lot of action for a second there. Not sure who was going to come up with the ball in the end. Ferhatovic again being used. Fades away. Second bucket in a row. Beautiful little fadeaway there. She has the height advantage over Cassidy, so not a surprise that she's trying to abuse that. We're going to see Malone block. That's 2 blocks back-to-back for Huntsville now. A chance to extend the lead to more than 5 points. Once again, back to the Fox. Again, fancy footwork getting down into the paint, dodging 2 defenders and another basket.
Fox is on fire.
I think that's trademarked for Jake Turner, so better watch out. We're going to see a quick return basket from Sylvius there, but that only stems the bleeding a little bit. That's 3 straight baskets from Huntsville.
Yeah, that timeout was should have come 2 minutes earlier. They're back on track here.
It looks like they're going to go for a 4th in a row, passing it back to Ferhatovic. And she's trying to call a play. It looks like she's in isolation. A little teardrop, no good. Offensive rebound. Wanted to go for the dunk, but Allen came in and put the defensive pressure on her. Surprising from the point guard to come over and help.
Yeah, he's like half her height.
Half her weight. I don't know about height. He's not that short. The Dole is at least 6 foot, I think.
He looks smaller from up here.
Malone left open on the perimeter. They're going to let him take that shot all day. Brown gets the rebound.
Well, and why not? He hasn't made it all day.
Exactly. And it looks like both teams have some players ready to come in off the bench. Next dead ball, we'll see a big switch. Not too surprising for Dakota given their sudden stall, and it looks like there's a horrible matchup against Ferhatovic. I believe that was the Dole matching up against the Fox.
Maybe he was going for a repeat performance.
And with that, Dakota's going to call timeout. Not happy with that last defensive possession. I mean, that's the beauty of the screens. The goal is to get a bad matchup, and that was the worst possible matchup. You had the shortest player shortest player on the court matching up against the tallest player, going into the post. That was checkmate right there for Huntsville.
Yeah, well, I'd be surprised if Dakota doesn't pull Nantakarn to ice him down a little bit, give him a little bit of breathing space.
But who they bring in as the backup point guard at that point, because he's been the backup point guard all year.
Maybe put in Lawless. I don't know.
I mean, you got Lawless, I guess, and then you have Sammy Sixtra, Tecumseh, just recently picked up. Previous Dakota player traded over to San Jose last season and was not signed in the offseason, got picked up again by Dakota again. I think their other real point guard, Chris Full is sitting on the bench out this game. And actually they're going to leave Allen in. They're going to sub in Tecumseh.
Just about everyone else.
They're going to leave Silvius and the rookie on the court, and they're going to bring in the other rookie, Mika Mishima. Allen over to Silvius for the quick shot. No good, off the backboard and off the rim. 7-point game for Huntsville right now, 21-14. A chance to extend it to double digits should they go for a three, but I think they're going to keep going to the Fox. Again, abusing the paint. Dakota needs to call another timeout, I think. They did not solve their problem right then. And they're already calling for more substitutions. Oh, Mishima with the ball now.
Well, they forgot to take the dole out the last time. So
well, that wasn't his fault this time. And we're going to see Tecumseh going for the
fair.
last second shot. No good. McMillan gets the rebound. Otley with the ball. Huntsville very active in the free agency. Going to Lennon. Bouncing around. Gets the shooter's roll in three. And with that, the game is 26-14. 12-point game. Huntsville is running away with it in the end of the second part of the first quarter. Tripping over my words now.
I'm just as dumbfounded as you are.
I mean, we were talking about Silvius going for a three of his own. Answers back from the corner. That brings it back to a single-digit game, but Huntsville just came out on fire. They've been going to the Fox, and the Fox has been converting every bucket after that first time out of the game. Back over to McMillan. Ends up getting a foul called on Aesop, blocking. I do not believe they're in the bonus yet, so they're going to reset the shot clock to 14 seconds and inbound the ball. And with that, we see a full set of bench players on the court now. Passing it over to Otley. McMillan deciding to go for a three. No good. Montgomery getting the rebound. We're going to see Lawless with the ball. Pass over to Hayes. Hayes going for a long two. No good. McMillan with a defensive rebound. 2-on-1 fast break. Lennon decides to pass over to McMillan for the final shot. A quick little lay-in as the defense wasn't sure who was going to take the actual shot there. Smart play coming in. Not to try rushing the shot and playing smart. Mishima now with the ball. Gets the little shooter's bounce and it rolls in from 2 feet out. Huntsville a chance to extend this to a 30-point quarter after what seemed like it wasn't going to break 20 there for a bit. And Huntsville able to get by the defender. Isolation play works out in the end, leaves a wide open lane to the basket. Hayes with the ball over to Montgomery. Back over to Aesop. Montgomery left a little bit open there for a second, but unable to do anything with it. Lawless back over to Montgomery. Some fast passing. Tecumseh going for the three. No good. And Montgomery's going to get called with a loose ball foul over the back. That will put them in the bonus, though, and Huntsville gets to go to the line. Chance to extend it beyond an 11-point game at this point.
Yeah, this could be trouble for Dakota if it keeps up.
Trouble? I think it could be. I think we already are in trouble. You got the Dakota players on the court have to be feeling the eyes right now of Malone, because I swear that Rue is staring holes in the back of their jerseys right now because he is just watching this game slip away very early.
Yeah.
Second shot, good on the first. And good. That will give Dakota the last basket of the quarter. Let's see if they decide to wait until the shot clock runs out if they're going to take the first open shot they get. At this point, they need to go for probably a three just to get to a 10-point game. We're going to see a little screen to get Montgomery close to the free throw line. Decides to go for the shot himself. No good. With that, the first quarter comes to a close. Huntsville fans are happy, 32. Dakota fans are crying right now, 19. Well, I don't know if they're crying. I don't know if Dakota fans even cry. They might lose their Dakota jersey if they do cry. Would that be a nightmare if Malone ripped your jersey out of your hand for crying?
No, stop it.
It looks like both teams are going to leave the majority of their bench players in, give their starters a chance to rest. Lawless on the perimeter.
I'm just imagining Malone being like, "No, your pain is their pain. Make it so."
No good coming out from White Latch, going for the long shot. We're going to see a fast play into the paint. Stout on the perimeter. Back over to York. Huntsville actually decided to bring in most of their starters. With Brown back on the court. Shot clock's running out, going to have to make a decision. Going for a fadeaway. No good. Decided to bounce around for a second before falling out. 3-on-2 fast break. Six-star going for the shot. No good.
I thought that was going in for sure.
It looked like it, but just decided to roll in and out. Those are the most heartbreaking when it looks like it's about to fall. Speaking of which, Wendy gets her own offensive rebound, puts it back up, no good, almost gets a second one. Both shots right there were very close to going in, and we see scoring drought for Dakota, 2 minutes. This is the second big scoring drought for the team. They had a 3-minute one earlier in the first quarter. And no good, once again, Cassidy unable to convert. And the worst thing is Huntsville doesn't even have their big scorer in right now. McCormick driving into the paint, gets the basket. Huntsville's giving Ferhadovic a rest right now, so.
They're giving Dakota a little chance to catch up, but Dakota's not taking it.
Not at the moment. No basket still. 2 minutes into the quarter. White Latch loses the ball. Quick fast break. Stout forced to stop. Decides to go for it. Blocked by Spratch. Lawless bringing the ball up the court now. Back over to White Latch. Over to Hayes now, the rookie. Dangerous pass. White Latch barely able to ring it in. Decides to go for the far shot. Finally ends the drought for Dakota. 34 Huntsville, 21 Dakota. And Huntsville deciding to call a timeout even though they seem to have the momentum right now. Maybe they just want to get the players they had waiting to check in on the floor. What do you think Dakota needs to do? Because I think I saw a certain Fox about to come back into the game.
Yeah, I think Dakota really just needs to get past that wall that is Ferdahovic and just really, I don't know if they need to just, double team her or, go set up a couple picks or what have you. But with her killing it on offense and defense, she's really their biggest threat right now. And if they can't stop her, then they're not going to be able to score while she's on the court.
Well, even if they score right now, if they can't stop her from scoring, the lead's just going to grow. And we do see starters come back out on the field for the most part. I believe you're right. They do need to double team her in the paint, but that always brings the risk of opening up on the perimeter, which you cannot do against Huntsville. It's really a double-edged sword when you do that. Sure, you stop her maybe, but all you've done is open it up for Wendy. Speaking of which, they're going to go to Ferhadovic now right away. No good. Good defense coming out from Cassidy there. Quick play. Malone going to get the ball. No, decides to back off. Back over to Allen. Back up to Malone.
Yeah, but I'd argue Brown in the perimeter right now is the lesser of the two threats.
If you say so. White Latch coming in for a great offensive rebound. Blocked. Redfield gets the rebound. No good, though. I mean, Wendy may start on the perimeter, but she ends up in the paint, so York decides to go for a shot, gets fouled, and the basket. Cassidy a little hard there, trying to prevent the shot from even going up. Ends up
Well,
giving
those collars like to play rough.
well, the poor bird might break a bone at that rate. He has to be careful. Those hollow bones do not do great in terms of contact like that. And York extends it to a 16-point game, 37-21. Allen with the ball on the perimeter. Needs to get something going. Malone deciding to take a three early in the shot clock. Left open, finally is hitting a shot from the perimeter. That's his first of the night, I believe.
I believe that's correct.
That is one player you do not want to get angry, though. So they need to be. Huntsville needs to start playing him a little bit closer. Because if he starts nailing those, it's over. And Mayer is caught on an defensive 3-second violation. Mayors get a chance for a one shot, and then they retain possession. As a defender, you cannot stand in the paint for 3 seconds without the ball being there. Same thing for offense. It's kind of the reason why you don't see the zone ever really played in the FBA, whereas in college you do. It kind of is rendered useless by that. I mean, you could imagine how difficult it would be to play at the FBA level if you just had two 8-foot furs standing in the paint all day. I'm looking at you, Seattle.
Waving their arms like a wacky inflatable tube guy.
Isn't that what basically Jake Turner is?
Yeah.
He's basically skin and bones at this point. He keeps growing. And York left open for a nice little lane to the basket. Good play off the inbound. See Malone with the ball, passing up to Whitelatch. Whitelatch over to Silvius on the perimeter. Decides to go for a shot early. Gets it to fall. But those are those kind of dangerous shots when you're playing isolation. Sometimes they fall, sometimes they don't. And I'd rather you see a draw up a play and miss it than take crazy shots like that.
Actually, I think Dakota's being smart here. I mean, it's almost kind of counterintuitive.
Well, we see yet another basket coming in from the Fox there.
But, if people are expecting you to kind of hold back and look for the shot, you just go up and take it. No one's going to be expecting it. And I think Dakota needs to mix up a little bit.
And we see another nice one coming in from Malone. Steps through the defense and gets into the paint. Answers back with his own to answer for Hodovic. But for Hodovic, wants to play a shooting game tonight. That is 19 points.
I was going to say, is that 40 points for Hodovich? 3 points for the rest of the team?
I mean, basically, that's 19 for her so far tonight. Redfield, nice little pump fake there. Draws contact from the sophomore. Can't get the bucket, but a chance for two at the line. Smart play coming out from the Deer there. And we're going to see Huntsville standing up on their feet. The crowd trying to distract him from making even a single bucket, but most players are used to that by now. We see York actually subbed out. Probably due to the second or third foul. I think that was his second foul. A little early to give away a second foul in the game. If he ended up giving a third, they would definitely have to pull him for the rest of the quarter. And good on the second. This time we're going to see DA bringing the ball up. That's a little bit different of a setup. Probably have a play in mind for this. Looks like Wendy's trying to get a screen to get into down low in the paint. Intercepted by Allen. Took too long to set the play. First chance for Dakota to really put a dent in this lead possibly. Malone with the ball, gets into the paint. No good. DA with the rebound. 43-30 still. Little fadeaway there, no good. Allen with the rebound. We haven't seen too many offensive rebounds, so good job on both teams for blocking out. Usually it's been a one-on-one matchup that we see fail, and Sylvia slips by for the easy layup.
It's just wide open for that.
And that is one of the problems with this matchup of speed, is if you get someone who's extremely fast like that going against an average player in terms of speed, once they get going, you cannot catch up. Little spin around, no good. 3-on-2 fast break. Sylvia's boxed into the corner, goes for the shot on his own. No good. Offensive rebound. As I said, good job on boxing out. Huntsville proves me wrong. Please enjoy this nice little 34-43 score before it's ruined. 45 now to 34. Back to an 11-point game. Wendy Brown answering back with her own quick layup. Only second basket of the night, though. Dakota calls a timeout. They were starting to catch a little bit of fire there. I wonder why the coach is deciding to put a halt to that momentum they've built. Perhaps looking to address something on defense. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I got to be honest. I have no idea.
What they can do really to stop the Fox right now. She is still scoring. I think she missed one basket, and that was the first shot she took.
Yeah. Well, it strikes me as odd that Huntsville would call a timeout here.
Dakota called it. Dakota had ball.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Yep. Dakota, as soon as they crossed the free throw, the half-court line, decided to call timeout. I believe they maybe wanted to bring a player in, but. Or maybe they have a play step in mind to get a three-point play going, because it actually, at the end, in that last play, Huntsville inbounding, Sylvius was playing a full-court press. So I don't know if that's something that he wanted to address and possibly change. Oh, it looks like they were looking to bring in some players. We're going to see the Pink Dragon come back out and Tecumseh coming in as point guard. If Dakota this early needs to go to the full-court press to put pressure on Huntsville. We're going to see Sylvius.
Well, I think they're looking for anything at this point. You know, they've got 5 minutes left in the first half, and they're just gonna. I think they're just gonna push Huntsville for all they're worth until the half.
And that's true, but maybe that's the play. We just saw look like a design play to get Redfield open alone near the post. That may be the change that they're looking for, is to get Redfield more involved in the offense. We're going to see a three coming out from Huntsville. Redfield, nice job going up and getting that rebound there. We have a 3-on-2 fast break. Malone decides to take the shot. No good for Hodovic with the rebound. Huntsville trying to answer on their own fast break. Who decides to back out, though, over to Otley. DA drives in on his own, draws the foul. He gets to go to the line for two now. That is not someone you want to step in front of when they're driving to the post like that. The Lion's arms might be bigger than his head right there.
That's a lot of mass coming at you like a freight train.
I mean, not necessarily the fastest, but when he gets moving, you better brace for impact. He's not a little dainty glass butterfly like some in the league.
No. Got Redfield being subbed out here.
Yeah, we're going to see the rookie coming back in, Mishima. Some saw as the possible replacement for Fenris, even though I think attitude-wise and productivity-wise, right now is a little bit below what Dakota was expecting. It's going to be interesting to see how he grows as a player as he gets put in these positions more. We're going to see a quick play. Sylvius left open on the left side of the perimeter, decides to drive in, brings it back to a 9-point game.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting to see how Nantarkan and Mishima kind of adopt the bikers' creed, as it were.
And you can't forget Hayes. Dakota has 3 rookies.
That's right.
We see a no good on the three-pointer coming out from Huntsville. Looks like they're trying to change it up a little bit. They were killing Dakota in the paint, maybe going for the threes now. Malone, I thought he was outside the perimeter, but it looked like he may have had a paw on the line. But so far, 3 for 12 tonight. Not doing that great from the field goal statistic. And Lennon going for another 3. No good. Todd called for the over-the-back foul. And we're going to see DA subbed out now for the rookie McMillan. Tecumseh with the ball. Bad pass. I don't know if you can call that really a steal for Ferhadovic, but it landed in her paws. Back out to Otley on the perimeter. Otley possibly could have taken a 3, decides to pump fake. Over to McMillan for the long 2, no good. Mishima with the rebound. Again, another chance for Dakota to whittle this lead back down a little bit. Malone, no good. I thought he was on fire. Mishima, offensive rebound, great job from the rookie. They are fighting for the ball down low. No Huntsville player was able to get a strong paw on it, and he was able to rip it away. Tecumseh, clock's winding down, goes for the screen. Bryan's open now. Decides to pass back out to Malone for the last second shot. High bounce off the rim, 2, 3, 4, no good, but Montgomery offensive rebound, 2 in a row now. Dakota's been on offense for almost a minute now straight, thanks to those 2 offensive rebounds. Neither decide to put it back up right away. Instead, Malone, third time the charm, no good. Mishima, 3 in a row. Finally decides to put it up on his own. That's
Actually, that was Montgomery there.
Yeah, sorry, Montgomery. Well, it was 2 offensive rebounds for Montgomery. Mishima had the first. But finally, Dakota gets a basket to fall after taking 4 shots. That is not going to help their field goal percentage. Stolen by Malone. One-on-one, let's see if he goes for the dunk. No, decides to play it safe and just lay it in at this point. He is not going to show off right now after how many baskets he's missed.
I can't believe we're at a 3-point game again.
Neither can I, but honestly, after seeing all those offensive rebounds come in there, Huntsville, you got to box out. You can't let them get offensive rebounds back to back to back like that. That's 3 possessions that Huntsville missed out on, basically. McMillan deciding to go for a 3, no good. Huntsville probably should go back to the post game at this point because they've moved to the perimeter. It's not working. Dakota, a chance to tie the game up. Bad pass down low. Otley with a quick pause, intercepts it.
It's very interesting to watch Otley play. He's very different play style than Brown.
Again with the 3-second violation on Dakota. I want to talk about poor mistakes from Huntsville and boxing out. I got to talk about poor mistakes from Dakota now. That's 2 this game. You usually don't see more than 1 a game.
That's just you're giving up 3 points at that point.
Well, if he makes the shot, but I do not expect the rookie to miss. That was a nice clean shot. 4-point game once again. Looks like Huntsville and Dakota are going to make some changes. York's coming back in, whereas Dakota's subbing in most of their bench. With only 30 seconds left in this second quarter, a little surprising to see them not want to get the best people in for their final shot. And there we go, McMillan driving into the paint. That seems to be the weakness for Dakota right now. 6-point game. 14 seconds on the shot clock. They're going to have to take a shot and leave about 6 seconds left for Huntsville at this point. Sixter at the ball now. 4 seconds in the shot clock. Driving into the paint. Draws the foul, though, from Stoute. 9.5 seconds on the clock. A chance for 2 free throws, but at least plenty of time for Huntsville to actually get down the court and take the last second shot. And Sixtra deciding to catch a breath for a second there. Not sure if the hit was a little bit harder than we expected coming out from the Stoute.
Well, that's it's really odd to see John Stout actually play that aggressively. I think he might be feeling a little frustrated right now with you know with Dakota closing that gap in there.
Yeah, I mean, he is, like you said, a veteran, a legend of the league. Good on both of them. Back to a 4-point game, and you really see sometimes the veterans, when the team struggles, you see it on them first. It takes a really strong leader to be able to hold up. Otley going for the last second shot, no good. Ends up being a 50-point half for Huntsville, but more shockingly, a 46-point half for Dakota, considering they were below 20 after the first quarter.
Yeah, Dakota's really kind of stepped up here. I I think someone lit a fire under their ass, and can I say that?
I mean,
Under their butts, and I think that person's name is Ryan Malone. Um,
well,
with
that's
those
that's just one strike
death
for you so
flares.
far. Two more, and then you're out.
Okay.
But no, you're right. If it wasn't Malone, I'd be shocked. Malone expects his team to play at a championship level, year in and year out. That's just the kind of competitor he is.
Right.
But right now, it's actually him that I think is really struggling for Dakota, and we're going to look at the teams. We got to talk about Huntsville, the Fox. 9 of 13 from the field goal, 19 points total, 4 rebounds, an assist, block, and steal. She's been doing it all for Huntsville, really. Because when you look at the rest of the starters, DA 1 for 5, 4 points. York 7 points, 3 for 4 from the field. He's the only other player starting that's really done anything for Huntsville. McCormick 1 for 2, Wendy Brown 2 for 6. Strong defense coming out though. 4 blocks between 3 players. York with 2.
Yeah, kind of a quiet game for Brown, all things considered.
Well, I mean, I don't. I guess you're not counting all the screaming and yelling, but on the scoreboard, I'm assuming you mean.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
and then Todd, 9 minutes on the court so far, only had a rebound. The 8-foot dragon not getting a lot of love down low in the paint. And honestly, if you look at the field goal percentage for Huntsville, it really is because of Ferhadovic right now that we're seeing any kind of positive. Uh, Looking at the bench, Ryan Otley took that last second shot, no good though. He had a steal though so far. Lennon only
Yeah.
taken 4 threes so far. That's the only thing Lennon shot tonight. Only made one of them. McMillan, the rookie, 7 points in 7 minutes, 3 for 6. Rooney, coming on over from Las Vegas, 2 points from the free throw line and a steal. John, only taking 1 shot as well, played minimal minutes right now. We're going to switch on over to Dakota.
Maybe they're saving John Stoke for the second half.
Perhaps. I mean, then again, you can't wear him out. Sylvius, 15 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist, 7 for 11, averaging out from Malone, who has 13 points, but 4 for 16 from the field. Whitelatch, 4 points, 4 rebounds. Allen, 4 rebounds, surprising coming out from the short dole, but sometimes the ball just lands in your hands and it just maybe he'll
Yeah,
go for a double-double with rebounds and assists.
I think some of those are offensive rebounds.
No, he has no offensive rebounds. The OR stat. Only Redfield and Montgomery have 2. Whitelatch has 1, and Sylvius has 1.
I was looking at the wrong line here.
And going on to the bench, not a lot of scoring coming out from them. Only 4 points, really, besides, well, at least from these 6. A total of 2, 4, 6 baskets between them. That is not a lot of shots coming out from them. Sammy, 2 points from him, though, but that was from the free throw line. He has not been able to make a basket tonight. Looking at that stat line, I have to say, honestly, Dakota's bench needs to step it up. McMillan has outscored the entire Dakota bench at this point. One Huntsville bench player has outscored the entire Dakota bench.
That's true.
And Malone needs to take smarter shots because, speaking of which, passing to Redfield. Redfield no good. That was a smart play from him. Just couldn't get the turnaround backdoor play to work. See Ferhadovic, see if she can continue this. Nice switch. Cassidy came over just in time to get the block, but she gets her own rebound. After the third shot, it ends up going in. That was strong defense from Cassidy, just couldn't get the rebound.
One determined Fox there.
No doubt. Ferhadovic not happy that the score that she built on her own built back up, and they're seeing double teaming on Silvius. Now Malone with the ball, steps into the shot a little bit open because of that double team that was on Silvius there. Good basket coming out from LaRue.
I'm surprised he didn't take three there. He had all the time in the world to set that shot up.
Well, he's 1 for 5 from 3. Maybe he's not feeling it tonight and would rather take the take the 15-footer when you have a guarantee versus the risk of the 23-footer.
That's fair.
McCormick decides to take a 3 of his own, but Ferhadovic, offensive rebound, puts it back again, trying to single-handedly keep Huntsville ahead. That is over 23 points so far tonight. Or 23 exactly, I should say. Cassidy, no go with the shot. McCulkin bringing the ball up the court. Again, the screen from the Fox. Probably going to end up passing to her off the give and go, but decides to drive in over to York. Had Allen matched up against him. This almost seems like a deja vu from the first quarter. Cassidy manages to get the ball. No good, though. Dangerous pass, trying to be fast about it. Ferhadovic once again double teamed this time early, leaving McCormick open on the perimeter. Was inside the three-point line. Back to a 10-point game once again. Dakota had clawed it back, but it's suddenly slipping away once again.
I think Huntsville was just trying to give him a little bit of hope.
And then crush it all.
Yeah.
Malone, no good on that shot. If anyone's been crushing it, it's been Ferhadovic. I mean, she has been the main scorer and looked like she was going to go for a shot there. Decided to back off as she saw the double team coming over. Brown now at the ball. Passing down to York. York tries to keep up the pressure in the post, but no good. Silvius with the rebound decides to bring up the ball on his own. Redfield calling for it, but decides to go over to Allen. Malone now. Can't get too close into the paint. Ends up back up to Cassidy, who's all the way on the perimeter. He's going to have to get into the paint sooner. Going to take a last-second shot there. No good. Poor clock management coming out from Dakota in that possession. Leaving it to the center to take a long shot. DA going for the shot off the side iron. No good. Still a 10-point game, 58-48. Allen going for the quick shot from three-point. Gets that ball had a little bit of a trip there, I have to say. It bounced off the front iron, hit the top of the backboard, and then just like dribbled in like it wasn't sure if it wanted to go in or not. Very lucky there. That was not the cleanest shot. York down low to DA. DA fouled on the way up by Malone. Malone had to put a lot of effort behind that to keep the Lion from going up. And that's one of the things about DA you have to admire. With his bulk, he can essentially play in the post against a lot lighter players, and it is a real challenge for opposing shooting guards to defend him in the post.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially when he takes those shots, you know, it's very hard not to draw that foul. Or it's easy for him to draw the foul. It's hard for his opponent not to foul him.
Yeah, it's very hard, like I said, to keep him away from the paint and then to actually defend him. I will say that bulk does have a negative side in the fact his speed is severely reduced, making it a little bit harder for him to get into the paint as often as I'm sure he would like. Just due to his lack of speed being able to get around the defenders, because he also has the issue of being called for charging due to that size.
That's right.
It's very easy for him to accidentally shoulder a defender and send them flying, and the ref's going to call that every time, whether it's his full strength or not. And we see both baskets good there, 60-51. Still a single-digit game, but Huntsville's still in firm control right now. Tecumseh getting around his defender, drives in, blocked. Big block coming in. That's another one for Huntsville, and they're starting to go fast on this. Brown drove to the paint, over to York. Back to McCormick, back to Ferhatovic. Fast plays coming out there, nice passes. I think every Huntsville player touched the ball, ended up in Ferhatovic's hands at the end. That is one style of play that's very difficult to overcome when fast passes work like that in quick succession. You really see that chemistry coming out from Huntsville, and it's just too fast for the defenders to get there in time to stop them.
You can just tell by watching that the Mayors have been working hard to drill these plays into their players for times like this where it almost becomes natural to just kind of bounce the ball around, almost confusing their opponents until somebody gets a clean shot.
I'm not even sure the ball bounced there. I think it was in the air the whole time. That's a very classic FBA style of play. We've seen in recent, I guess, decade, you could argue, this kind of street ball mentality of isolation play where, you know, you just leave one player to make the move to get into the paint. It really was an old style to see these passes where every player touched the ball and it never seemed like the ball bounced. It's very refreshing to see that kind of play come back in every now and again, especially when we have these very showy players in the league nowadays.
Well, I think that's what makes it so effective against Dakota, is that Dakota is a very aggressive, almost kind of street ball mentality when they are on the court. And so a play like that is really going to trip them up.
Street ball? I think that's offensive to street ball. This is MMA. But we saw Silvius with a quick shot off the inbound. Nailed the basket. I believe that was Wendy, was unsuccessful for Huntsville. Redfield with the ball in the perimeter. Back over to Tecumseh. Back to Silvius, drives in, back over to Tecumseh. Nice little give and go there. Aesop passed over to Silvius, and as Silvius drove in, Aesop's defender tried to cheat over to help defend against the Weasel. And Aesop just knew exactly what to do, drive to the paint and get an open shot. Huntsville no go on that basket. We're going to see a quick play coming out from Dakota, trying to get low in the paint. Silvius going for a spin around jumper, trying to show off a little bit there. It's another basket for him. That's, I believe, 3 this quarter.
Huntsville can't let that happen if they want to hold on to that lead.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad defense coming up from Huntsville. That's a very risky shot, but right now Huntsville's just not able to find the basket. We're going to see a 2-on-2 fast break. Silvius decides to take it on his own. No good. Probably should have passed over to Tecumseh there. McCormick on the perimeter has been quiet this game. It's really been York and Ferhatovic. Speaking of York, going for a 16-footer, no good. Up to Redfield on the fast break. Gets another little lay-in for him. Hasn't been very explosive tonight on offense, but he's been making the baskets where it counts. He hasn't really missed one, I believe. Huntsville, a bit of a heave over to Lennon. Surprised didn't go for the 3 right away. Decides to drive into the paint, but bad pass stolen by Silvius. 1-on-1 fast break. Tecumseh, no good. Probably should have played it back to Redfield there, who was right behind him. Dakota has once again clawed it back to a 3-point game, but they have not been able to get a lead since early in the first quarter. And we see a nice, well, I don't know what to call it nice. It was an easy play, easy lane to the basket there. And we see a little showing off as Lennon heads to the bench. Only the second basket tonight for him. I'm a little surprised Dakota decided to call a timeout here, given that they've actually managed to claw it back once again. That they just have refused to die tonight. Perhaps looking to drop another play or maybe make an adjustment on defense, because something has been working for Hodovic. Has not been as explosive the last couple minutes, but we said that in the second quarter, and then she came out in this third quarter and exploded once again. Your thoughts on what Huntsville needs to do to re-extend their lead once again?
Well, I think they just need to find a new strategy here. It's clear that Dakota's finally kind of onto their pass to the Fox strategy, and they need to start relying on some of their other key players like McQuilkin and Brown to make those plays.
Well, I guess that's part of the worry, is that they've been letting them take shots, but they haven't been converting. We're going to see some actually changes coming in for Dakota. That's perhaps why they wanted to call the timeout. Lawless in. Silvius on the bench now. And Mishima comes in as well. Lawless going for three. No good, but Redfield, nice offensive rebound. Goes back up and fouled by the Otter. Can't get the basket to fall, but a chance for two. Redfield actually managing to keep himself kind of out of trouble this season for the first time, I could say, since his rookie year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of hard to forget last season, him going over to the UFFL during the lockout, but then going during the middle of the season and playing a game, resulting in a suspension and eventual ban from the All-Star Week. I believe this is the first year outside of his rookie year he's actually eligible for the All-Star Week. We'll have to see if his performance this year has encouraged the fans to vote for him. Good on the first. Even though it's kind of hard to say with how Dakota has performed this year if any of them will even make the All-Star game.
That's true.
Let alone if they'll even accept it, being, I believe, below 30% winning. And go in the second. McMillan left open, overcommittal from the defender there, trying to go for the steal. Quick drive to the basket, nets an easy bucket. And Redfield over to the Pink Dragon. Lawless back to Redfield. Mishima now. Back to Lawless, who's going for another three. Off the side iron, but gets the shooter's roll. Lawless bringing it back to a one-possession game, 66-64, with a little under 4 minutes left in the third quarter. York now tightly defended. Having to do a little bit of a dangerous pass over to Otley, who couldn't get by his defender. McMillan back over to York. Lennon for three. No good. Tried to answer back with one of his own, but 1 for 6 tonight from the three-point line. Sorry, 1 for 5 from the three-point line, actually. It's almost stolen. Mishima gets the ball back, though. Goes up for the shot. Fouled by the rookie. Some rookie-on-rookie violence there. Mishima with a chance to get the score tied for the first time, I think, since the first quarter. It's been a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Feels like it's been a long, long time.
We're going to see some substitutions coming in. No good on the first. Perhaps some rookie nerves coming in. Good on the second, though. 65-66. Huntsville with 1-point lead right now. Dakota is smelling the blood in the water, you could say. Otley now with the ball. Gets a little screen, tries to drive into the paint. Pass over to York. York with the height advantage, gets the shot. Slows down the run a little bit there, but Dakota has been on a 14-6 run over the last 8 minutes. Huntsville has slowed down their scoring dramatically in this third quarter. Not from the lack of effort by any means. Mishima passing over to Sixtra. Sixtra to Sprach. Lawless now. Back down the Sprach. Huntsville passing over to Lennon. Lennon tried to go for a pump fake, but at this point I don't think Redfield's going to bite on the three. 1 for 5 out there. Decides to drive into the paint. Good on that shot, though. Perhaps the range for him should be within 20 feet. Redfield packing back up to Lawless. Lawless on the Sprach for the drive into the paint. Answers right back quickly, 69-70. Dakota is not going to let this slip away once again. Managing to keep it within a 1-point game. And Huntsville, perhaps feeling the pressure, decides to call a timeout.
Yeah, Dakota's really kind of clawed their way back up here. And now that they're kind of evenly matched again, I don't think they're gonna do everything that they can to stay there.
Well, what worries me is if I'm a Huntsville player, a Huntsville fan, they've had 2 separate times where they've built double-digit leads, and both times within a quarter it slipped back to a single-digit, single-basket game. I mean, we saw a very strong first quarter. We saw a very strong third quarter. Well, a very strong start to the third quarter, I should say. But at this point, I don't know if I can trust a Huntsville lead. Even if they come out in the fourth quarter all guns firing once again, I don't trust them to hold a lead.
Dakota's acting kind of like a wounded animal. You know, they're the most dangerous when they're down. So it's almost fascinating to see this ebb and flow. I wonder if Huntsville can stop them from coming back if they get farther ahead again.
York decided to go for a little bit of a, I want to call it a silly shot because he was open, but he was a little bit outside his range there. We see Hayes deciding to take a three of his own, no good. Dakota had a chance there to retake the lead for the first time since the first quarter, and oh my lord, Stote. Did you really just dunk the ball there? Someone is angry. That is not the player you see going for a dunk off, and that was a statement dunk there. I am left speechless seeing him fly through the air at his age. Lawless with the ball in the perimeter. Definitely heard the crowd finally getting back into it after that slam-a-jam. Mishima going for a long two, about 20 feet, no good. John passing over to Otley. Otley off the double screen. Looked like he had a chance to go to the paint, decides to pass to Todd. Over to York, who's left open. But he has gone cold this second half. He tried to make the shot a little fancier than it needed to be, and no good. Sixtra with the ball in the perimeter. Over to Hayes, back to Lawless. Back over to Hayes again. 6 seconds left in the shot clock. Hayes is going to have to take a shot from deep in the perimeter. No good. That's going to leave Huntsville with the last shot of the quarter. Perhaps a chance to get it back to a 2-possession game. McMillan off the screen, but stolen. Sixtra decides not to throw up the last second shot. And with that, we see the third quarter come to an end, 72-69. Dakota once again having clawed their way back into this game, only down by a single three-pointer. Huntsville, on the other hand, has given up two separate 10-point leads. What do you think these coaches are saying to their players going into this final quarter?
Well, I think, quite honestly, I think Dakota's wearing Huntsville out here a little bit. I think Huntsville's going to have to start changing up their game plan just a little bit to keep up with Dakota. Probably going to see a lot more passing from Huntsville than we have the first couple of quarters. As for Dakota, I expect to see them playing with their full energy and full force, just trying to wear Huntsville out.
And we see there, McCulkin was trying to get down to the post, stolen, and Malone answers with a basket. Huge dive from Malone there to save, not Malone, sorry, saved the ball that was going out of bounds. Manages to keep it in play. Great job and effort coming out there. Manages to give Dakota the first lead since the first quarter off the block.
I think since they've had 4 points.
Yeah. And then Huntsville takes it right back up there on their own volition. Yeah, that was actually Allen diving out of bounds to get the ball.
The rookies earned their stripes today.
Well, I mean, I don't think he scored a basket yet. Let's see if he can. Nope, no good still. Huntsville manages to maintain possession. For Hodovic, a bit of a teardrop there. Perhaps should have used her body a bit more to get down to the paint. We're going to see Cassidy driving down low. Goes over the shot, fouled hard by McCulkin. Some Lion on Colley violence there. Colley sent tumbling to the floor. And as for what I think both teams are saying right now, Dakota's definitely, probably morale-wise, higher. They've managed to stay strong through two major deficits. And the coach is telling them that probably the same thing is, look, you're still here even though you were down by 16 in the first quarter. All we have to do is be ahead when the buzzer ends. The game's over. Doesn't matter if we were down the whole game, we won. Huntsville is, I would not be surprised if they actually continue going to Ferhadovic. She has been the main scorer, and the others have not stepped up, really. And we're going to see Ferhadovic going down low, double team, no good. But that is the danger, is that they're going to continue to double team her. Malone taking an early shot in the clock. No one was defending him closely, no good though. Dakota still with a 1-point lead right now.
If I were on Dakota, I would be playing as if we were 10 points under. So that seems to be the
when they play their best.
The sweet spot, yeah.
Cassidy decides to take a step into the shot. No good. Rims out. Brown with a defensive rebound. Needs to cross the line by the 14th second. Decides to pass it up to York instead. York trying to get by Cassidy. No good, though. Gets the screen and does a little layup. Good screen to get him open there. York and Redfield tonight have not stood out in terms of back-to-back scoring, but they've been slowly adding points to the board, each of them above 12. Malone now with the ball over to Sylvia. Sylvia's left open. Nothing but net there. Gets the lead back once again. These teams are now, for the first time, actually fighting over the lead. That's 6 lead changes in the last 2 minutes. Make it 7. Brown answers with her own layup. Quick pass down to Redfield. Redfield lays it in. Okay, guys. What is going on? Where's the defense?
I think both teams just gave up on defense. going all out on offense here.
Well, the net's going to come down to whoever has the ball at the end. Silvius with the quick pause steal. Redfield's open. If he passes, easy layup again. That's back to, I was saying Redfield hadn't been standing out, but he decides to shut me up and get 2 back-to-back buckets, giving Dakota a 3-point lead.
Of course, Silvius shut me up when I said there's no defense here. So,
well, I mean, Huntsville answered back right there, keeping it a 1-point game.
With Frodovic again there.
Malone on the perimeter. We'll see if he decides to take the shot or if he's going to pass down to Whitelatch, who is left open. Dakota had struggled from the paint the whole game, and finally in the fourth quarter seems to have found their stride down there. That's 8 points in a row, basically besides the Silvius bucket, that have come from the paint. And we're going to see a foul come out and one. Double team came over to try and stop the play, but McCormick able to get down low, draw the contact and the bucket. A chance to tie the score back up at 83 apiece.
Yeah, this is a big play for Huntsville. They if he makes it here, they have a shot of getting back on top.
Well, with Dakota having not taken many threes or made many outside of, I think, one from Silvius, one from Malone, Allen's going to go for a 3 to try and shut me up, but no good. That's been the main result tonight from the 3-point line for Dakota is misses. A chance for Huntsville to get the lead back. 11th or 12th lead chain potentially here. McCormick trying to do it on his own. Finally breaks by Silvius. Gets the layup. As you see the comparison there, Silvius with 21, McCormick with 13. McCormick is finding his stride here in the fourth quarter. Silvius over to Allen. Allen, another shot from the corner, no good. He has not been able to find the bucket tonight. And 2-on-1 fast break, McCormick again. He is on fire right now, getting it to 87-83 with half the quarter left to play. Allen on the perimeter over to Redfield. Redfield pump fakes a 3, decides to drive in, makes it to the free throw line, over to Silvius. Back to Malone. Malone has a lane to the basket and goes for a dunk to answer back against the veteran.
It's a beautiful basket there.
Showing he still has the hops to get up there even after 13 years in the league. McCormick passing down to Ferhadovic, going to their solid Fox. Has to do a fadeaway off the back iron, no good. Redfield with the rebound. Allen bringing the ball up the court over to Silvius. Silvius down the Redfield, decides to back out. The post was getting crowded. Malone deciding to go for 3. Bouncing around, 3, 4, 5. Ball finally falls out, though. It almost like he got stuck there for a second. Another quick steal coming out from Malone this time. Passing over to Allen. Allen to Silvius. Silvius for 3. No good from him. That's 2 missed 3s in a row for Dakota, trying to get the lead back.
Had to laugh. Saw Malone kind of cozy up to that out of bounds line this time around.
You were thinking about him slipping out again, weren't you?
Yeah, well, he did a pretty quick stop there this time.
Lucky he didn't fall over. Ooh, and knocked over. Cassidy is sent flying. They're not going to call the foul, though. McCormick, another basket, has quickly kept Huntsville in this game. Back to 4 points. Allen, I think that's his first basket of the night. 2 points for him, 89-87. Huntsville still has the ball. 4 minutes and 24 seconds left. Huntsville decides to call timeout, even though I think right now they have the momentum with McCormick. Has not missed a basket in the last 4 minutes. I was talking about Ferhadovic being the one they need to go to, and I was clearly wrong in my assessment there. I believe
Well, like I said earlier, they really had to find another person to get the ball to dependably, and it looks like McCormick's kind of stepped up and has become that person late here in the game.
well, and I think it's also Huntsville finally realizing who is pulling off to guard for Hodovic, because Dakota is having to double team her every time she goes to the post. And they finally figured out who's switching, really. And we're going to see a only one substitution, McMillan coming in to give DA a chance to rest, possibly get him prepared for the final minute of the game. Should this game remain close, they will have at least one player well rested that they can go to for that final shot if need be. But I think Huntsville here is looking to get another last minute 10-point lead, hopefully. For Hodovic, going for the shot. You saw Redfield rotating over to double team at the last second. Defense too strong. Malone with the ball. Getting into the paint, passing over to Whitelatch. Whitelatch ties it back up once again. This fourth quarter has had more ties and lead changes than the entire rest of the game. And we see the comparison there, 27 points for Hodovic. Only 10 for Whitelatch. Brown down low in the paint, draws the foul, no go on the basket. Wendy gets a chance to go to the line now for two. She's been quiet most of the night, been effective in terms of being a point guard by not turning the ball over much. But when it comes to scoring, she was like 2 for 6, I believe, in the first half. And has not really stepped up this half either. Good on the first. And we hear the crowd cheering once again. They are going to be the 6th man, I think, for Huntsville this game. Their energy needs to keep Huntsville's energy up. You cannot discount the home crowd in a game like this, especially when it's close. Good on the second. Both teams have been really strong from the free throw line tonight, only missing a couple each. Allen over to Cassidy. Cassidy to Silvius. Back over to Allen. Whitelatch on the perimeter. Spins into the paint. Just heaves it up there after the contact. No good. And as we're going to see, the pace of play is slowing down as teams are fouling now. Perhaps hoping to get a breather between each possession. So with only 3 minutes left, Cassidy misses the first. Waylon, who do you have winning this game with the score so close and only 3 minutes left?
My money's on Huntsville still. Like you said, the only way Dakota's going to win this game is if they end up, obviously if they have more points at the end of the quarter.
That's how basketball works.
Yeah, exactly. But looking at the first 3 quarters of the game, they've either been down or kind of consistently close, but haven't been able to quite.
They've never had a lead, basically.
5%. Exactly. And so I think I'm a huge believer of history repeating itself. And unless Dakota really kind of takes the Huntsville by the horns, they're going to walk away with a 2 or 3 point loss here.
I believe that is a face mask penalty, 15 yards for Huntsville then, if Dakota does that. I'm sorry, I'm pulling my UFFL references into the FBA. I will shut up now.
Well, Malone's going to go into the penalty box. He does that, so.
Well, we saw for Hodovic doing a nice little fadeaway there, finally getting another basket under her belt. 22 points in the paint has been the main score for Huntsville tonight. I have to agree with you in the terms I think Huntsville is going to hold the lead. I think they're going to let Dakota slip in close again. It's only a couple possession game right now. And with Malone, you can never count them out. He could be 1 for 20 on the night. But if he has the ball in his hands in the last possession, you're sweating up a storm.
Yeah, I think honestly Huntsville needs to get it within a 5 to 8 point lead. Not enough that Dakota's fight or flight instinct kicks in, but enough that they have that cushion before.
That 10-point fight or flight you were saying, the
Exactly.
sweet zone. Cassidy faces off against Verhodovic. The ball rolls around for a little while before falling in. 93 to 92, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. 10 lead changes. Biggest lead was 16 by Huntsville. That was early in the first quarter, but they managed to get a 13-point lead later in the third quarter. See, McCormick hasn't taken a shot since his shooting spree earlier, backing down the paint against Silvius. Ends up getting the advantage there. Back to a 3-point game with barely 2 minutes left to go. Malone with the ball. Driving into the paint, decides to put up the shot. Despite the pressure, somehow it falls in. That was a very awkward shooting pose coming out from him. Managed to keep his body square to the basket, though, and put it up. I think perhaps he was looking for some contact there to go the line, but can't argue if he made the shot. And we're going to see Huntsville calling a timeout with less than 2 minutes left in the final quarter. Every possession counts at this point. One missed basket gives Dakota a chance to get a lead.
Yeah, I think both teams, there's a lot of pressure right now for either side to really perform in the next minute and a half here. Like I said before, Huntsville is wise to try to bring that lead a little farther, maybe give themselves a little bit of a cushion in case you have Malone or Redfield coming in at the end with a surprise basket. But if Dakota keeps pushing them, I think Dakota might have a chance of overtaking them if Huntsville's not careful.
It will have to be a last-second thing, though, as you said. Dakota is not. And we're going to see McMillan going for an early shot. A turnaround jumper. I am not sure how the rookie had the cojones to take that shot. And I did not say kahunas, I said cojones.
Yeah, but he made it, so, that's...
I mean, he made it, and the team's cheering him on right now, but if he missed that shot, I don't want to see Wendy.
He did. That's all that matters.
Okay.
He didn't miss.
The rookie lives another day is what we're saying.
Exactly.
Very surprising to see them take a shot so early, because with 2 minutes left, shot clock management is going to be key. Whoever has the ball to end the game might be who wins it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think he just, it was one of those rare times where he saw he had the shot and took it, and it was a gamble that paid off.
And another quick shot, 3 seconds after the inbound, Silvius gets the ball from Malone for a quick layup. Ball didn't even touch the ground there. Answers back with his own quick shot. Back to a one-possession game, and Huntsville immediately calling a timeout, leaving both teams with only one apiece. I believe both of them are 30-second timeouts. Barely enough time to draw a play together, but it does bring the ball up the court. I believe both teams will keep that final timeout for the last possession just in case they need it. They can't afford to be dribbling up the court with only a couple seconds left. We see McMillan again with the ball in the last seconds, going for an early shot. No good. Whitelatch with the ball. A chance for Dakota to take the lead with only a minute and a half left. Over to Whitelatch, who's open for a long distance two. Nails it. Not his normal range, but good shot coming out from the Collie, left wide open. Now the pressure's on Huntsville. Verhodovic, offensive rebound and the putback. great play considering McMillan took an early shot once again. Malone taking it up on his own, rejected hard. McMillan with the rebound, 3-on-2 fast break. McCormick with the ball down to Brown. Brown fouled by Redfield. This is very dangerous territory for Dakota now. They just sent Wendy to the line for 2, down by 1. This is a chance for Wendy to put it up by 3, and Dakota has not been good from 3 tonight. Good on the first, 100-98. Wendy has, and you can see the bench for Huntsville standing as well as the crowd. They know the importance of this free throw. The crowd's going to go quiet, let her concentrate. And good on the second. Dakota not going to call a timeout here. Probably going to try and save it for the last couple seconds, as I was mentioning. Malone, quick pass to Silvius. Silvius could have possibly put that up, but decided to pass back out. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Malone with the ball in the perimeter. A little crossover move, gets open. Whitelatch offensive rebound and the putback. That play right there, very lucky that he managed to break away from his defender, forced Ferhadovic up to defend him, which left Cassidy open for the offensive rebound. That was only because of Malone's fast moves, and we see a steal coming out from Malone. 4-on-2 fast break over to Silvius. Silvius goes up for the shot, no good. Offensive rebound by Redfield. Redfield tries to put it back up, no good. Dakota down by 1. Redfield forced the foul because there's no time left between the shot clock and game clock. Huntsville gets to go the line for 2. This might be the game right here.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a little odd. Dakota seemed like they were running the clock a little bit, and when you're down by a basket or 2, that's not a smart thing to do, and I think they're gonna regret doing that here.
Yeah, I mean, Silvia's not taking the shot early in the shot clock was a mistake, I think. And good on the first. Dakota has not been good for 3. If he nails this, it might be game. But he leaves the door open.
Oh!
And good job getting the offensive rebound there. Redfield fouled the person he needed to. He ended up fouling York. Probably the best person to foul in that case besides Ferhadovic. Now Dakota, you have the game clock is turned off. You have 20 seconds to do whatever play you want to do. 21 seconds, sorry. But you need a 3 to win, a 2 to go to overtime, and you cannot leave enough time on the clock for Huntsville because they have a timeout. And they're going to use it to get up to the half-court line at least if you leave them the time. Who takes the shot?
You mean like who?
Who takes the final shot, yeah. Because Malone has not shot well tonight, but he is the guy for Dakota. Or do you give it to Redfield, or do you possibly try and get Silvius to hit a 3 last second? I don't know. I think it's going to go to Malone for the last shot. If it doesn't. But he's tightly defended. Going over to Silvius. Back to Allen. Over to Malone. 17 seconds left. The clock is ticking down. Down to Allen, the rookie. Double team. Back to Redfield. Redfield over to Malone once again. 10 seconds left. Malone decides to take the shot with only a couple seconds to go. No good. Whitelatch. Offensive rebound and the putback. Cassidy just saved Dakota there.
Wow.
That is 2 back-to-back offensive rebounds.
I mean, you got to talk about Dakota's determination. They've come back from 2 really, really big deficits, and now they've managed to tie it up with 3 seconds left in the game.
But Huntsville has the ball now at half court with 3 seconds left.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think we've seen such a nail biter this whole season.
Not in a sports den, that's for sure. This is dangerous. I mean, Malone took the shot with that much time left because he wanted to leave enough time if he missed that there could be an offensive rebound or a foul.
Yeah.
Or a foul, because if they fouled and they only made one of the free throws, they still had a chance for a three. But it left 3.5 seconds on the clock. It takes 0.5 seconds to get a shot off of an inbound. That's 3 seconds to play with. That is... That's plenty
You're
of time.
playing with fire.
It's going to Brown. It has to. No, for Hodovic. She's had the hot paw. Bouncing around, no good. We're going to overtime.
No good.
A little surprising, but then again, she has been the scorer for Huntsville tonight. I think she has almost a third of their points. So
well, and I think she had the height. I mean, she had the best shot.
She wasn't going to get blocked. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think it was a smart decision. It just couldn't follow through here.
Yes, good defense, keeping her farther out of her range than probably she was comfortable with. And we're going to see Huntsville 5 minutes in overtime. They get the possession early. We're going to have to see if stamina starts to play a role, especially with Malone. His stamina has been a question as the season has gone on. Redfield matching up well, but foul gets called for the foul.
You've got Malone. You've got Stowe. If they put him in at all, you know his stamina is probably running low too. Some of these older players who know the game, but their bodies aren't quite keeping up.
Well, that's actually the funny thing for both teams. Looking at the starting lineup, the oldest guy is Malone, and after that, the next is. Well, I mean, I wouldn't call Wendy old, or else she might bite my face off.
She's the most.
She's the next veteran after Malone.
Seasoned veteran.
But there's a lot of young players on both starting lineups. I mean, we were saying York and Ferhadovic. You have Silvius, Allen, Cassidy's only in his third year. I mean, Redfield is going into his fifth or sixth. Whitelatch down low in the paint once again. He has been the MVP these last 3 minutes. After getting 2 offensive rebounds to tie the score up twice. Very big plays coming out from him in the last couple minutes of the game. Stolen, in fact, but DA retains possession. Cassidy's making a case for a player of the game late. Shot over Redfield, no good. Whitelatch, rebound. Tied at 104 with 4 minutes left. Pass over to Redfield. Redfield back to Allen. Allen over to Malone. Wendy's leaving him lots of space in case he drives in. No good. Cassidy was right there, ready for a rebound, but finally boxed out. DA with the ball in the perimeter. Spin move again to the paint. Jams it in with authority. That is not a happy Lion.
No, he's done playing around.
And I'm surprised the rim didn't break there. We see Malone getting fancy with the underhanded layup. Huntsville has the strength, but Dakota has the finesse right now. Brown tries to get by her defender, no good. Double teamed, in fact, now by Malone. Malone came all the way over triple team for a second there with Redfield supporting. Ferhadovic, no good. Malone was able to put enough of a pressure on her to force a shot correction. You see Silvius left open off the screen. Nothing but net. 2-point lead.
Ferhodovic's been really cold in last quarter and coming into overtime here. I think she's missed maybe the last 3 or 4 she's gone for.
I mean, I still think her field goal percentage is well above 50%, which is the scary thing. We see her go again. No good there. I mean, perhaps she should pass it off, but she has had the hot paw today. Malone takes it on his own through 3 defenders. He is stepping up in this overtime now. 4-point lead. A little over 2 minutes left in the overtime. Stolen by Redfield. That's the third or fourth steal coming in from Dakota. And we're going to see Redfield ends up with the ball on the other end. This is the biggest lead coming out from Dakota now. 6 points, 112 to 106. See a little spin move coming out from York. Trying to be fancy with the lay-in. And we're going to see Dakota calling a timeout here. They managed to build up a 4-point lead. Dakota probably wants to draw up a play to make sure they can get this basket. They cannot allow Huntsville to stay close. After all the effort and fight that Dakota has put into this game, it would be a heartbreaker if they let Huntsville steal it away after building up it's a small lead, but they have a lead in overtime. There's not a lot of time left.
Talk about heartbreakers. I feel bad for the Huntsville fans who came out to the game tonight.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing in the FB. I know. Someone has to lose every game unless you want to play a never-ending overtime matchup.
It's true. It's true. But, Huntsville has had 2 solid leads,
They have, and that is the game, unfortunately, at times. As you said, there's ebbs and flows. Dakota's bench really hasn't done much, whereas we saw McMillan coming in for Huntsville. He really was the big scorer for them off the bench. He had at least 12 points today, I believe. Whereas Dakota has relied on their starters, especially Whitelatch, got away from his defender, could have slammed it in, but decided to go for the safe shot.
And that's what Dakota's got to do right now. Is they got to take calculated risks. They're really looking to kind of chip away at that small lead and or not chip away, kind of
add
chips. Yeah.
They need to extend the lead because if Huntsville stays close, again, they have great shooters, DA, Wendy. I know they haven't really been on fire this game like they normally are, but McCormick had that spurt of 8 points in under 2 minutes. He alone could turn the game around if he catches on fire again. This 6-point lead is not enough for Dakota. With even it's only a minute and 50 seconds left roughly.
Only that's huge. That's a lot of time. I could.
That's 4 possessions. And yes, you could.
I could read a book in that amount of time.
Are you in the children's section again? No comment.
No comment.
York going up for the shot. Sophomore, no good. Redfield with the rebound. They might be getting to the point where they have to start considering fouling or going for threes. Dakota's going to run down the shot clock to about a minute and 20 probably before they even bother taking the shot. Even though Silvius is open, drives into the paint, fouled, and the basket. 8-point lead with a chance to make it 9 right at the end. Wendy is not happy right now. She let him get open and did not put enough contact to stop that shot. And you hear the crowd very angry right now. This might be the dagger because if this goes, it's a 3-possession game. No good, though. Huntsville, chance if they do a fast 3, they can get it within 5. But for Hodovic, going for a long shot. There we go, left open. That's the shot she wanted to take to end the game, but she'll take it now. But again, Cassidy left wide open down in the paint. Erases whatever good for Hodovic's shot did. York gets open, drives into the paint, fights to the contact, no foul called, gets the basket. A little surprise there. Again, Huntsville needs to play very tight D, and yet they let Redfield open again. York and Ferhadovic have just not been defending the post well. As you said, where's the defense gone? and just hands the ball to Malone, trying to get over his head, but a quick pause. That might be the game there. 8 points with 40 seconds left.
But you can just see that Huntsville is dogging it. They're really tired right now.
And their defense is leaving big holes. Redfield left wide open as they tried to double team Silvius to force a turnover. Just left Redfield wide open in the paint. We're going to see York trying to answer back with a shot, but first double-digit lead for Dakota. And it
Things do
can't
not look good for Huntsville.
I mean, best case scenario, make the first one, miss the second, get the rebound, throw it to the perimeter, hit a three. You're still down by 6 with 20 seconds left. And in fact, we're going to see both teams throwing out their bench. They've given up on the game. They know a 3-possession game with 24 seconds left is not something that they can fight back through. If it was a 2-possession game, maybe York would have to miss this shot on purpose, but he's going to make it. And as you see, even the Huntsville fans are leaving the arena.
Wow, this place is empty.
I mean, can you blame them? It would take some really unexpected heroics, and I just don't think Huntsville's going to fight through it like that. So with the last couple seconds, who do you think the player of the game is going to go to? I have to say my vote is for Cassidy. His offensive rebounds and second chance buckets got them to overtime. He is the reason why.
Absolutely. I mean, he's definitely stepped up here in the second half.
Second half, last 6 minutes of the game was his time.
Absolutely.
And we're going to see some unfortunate booing coming in from the crowd. They're not happy to see Dakota celebrating as they pull back a heartbreaker. And we see the player of the game.
Let's take a look here.
It's actually going to end up with Silvius, 27 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. I can't help but think a couple of those assists came at the end. I remember passing to Redfield, for example, on one of the last buckets, was left wide open.
Yeah.
Kind of gifted that assist there. Let's look at the box scores, though, as we kind of break down what happened. Looking at York, good showing from the sophomore, 20 points, 8 for 17. But we can't help but talk about Ferhatovich. 33 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks, 16 for 30. She took the majority of the shots.
Yeah.
And made the majority of the shots. Wendy Brown, 8 points, 5 rebounds, no assists, though. A little surprising from her. McCormick, 8 for 11, 19 points. Very good showing from him despite the loss. DA with a double-double in rebounds and points. 12 points. McMillan, the rookie, as I was saying, 11 points. He actually didn't hit 12. 5 for 10. Besides him and Lennon, there were very few points coming off the bench. Lennon was 7. Otley doing the role of the point guard this game, actually, with 4 assists, whereas Wendy had 0. John, 1 basket, but it was a big slam as we watch on the replay real quick. And then Swimmer only had a couple minutes in the game, as did Rooney. Not much from either of them. And then we go over to Dakota. I'm a little surprised they didn't give it to White Latch. I mean, you can see it was the starter show. 27 points for Sylvia, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. Allen, 10 assists, 5 rebounds, 5 points. Malone, 27 points. He took 30 shots as well. Redfield, 22 points, 11 rebounds, a double-double from him. A steal, 9 for 13. White Latch, 25 points, only 2 points behind Silvius, had 11 rebounds, assist, a steal, a block, and a turnover. Perhaps based on the fact that Silvius had more assists and another steal is why they went with him. But great showing from 4 of the starters. I mean, Malone, 11 of 30, not the best field goal percentage, but his teammates made up for it. And Brian, only 2 points, 1 for 3. Going into the bench, again, very weak showing from them. Tecumseh, only 2 points, 4 assists. Mishima, 1 for 2, 3 points. He went to the line once, 5 rebounds. Lawless, 5 points, highest score from the bench in only 10 minutes. for Dakota. Kelly, 2 points, 2 rebounds, assist, and a block. And Raphael Hayes, 7 minutes, took 3 shots, no good. Sammy, only 2 points, came from the line. And with that, that is the end of the game. Dakota, again, stealing it away. You look at the field goal percentage, 50% between the two of them. It kind of came down to the fact that Dakota took more shots with the offensive rebounds. They had 11 offensive rebounds compared to 7 from Huntsville. Dakota had 11 steals. That is a very big turnover margin. You see 12 points off the steals. Um, any closing thoughts for both of these teams as uh, we wrap up tonight, Waylon?
Well, I think I mean this is a perfect example of that. Even when you think you've got it in the bag, anything can happen. You said before, this is the FBA. You you really shouldn't count your chickens before they hatch. And more than once we saw Huntsville have a sizable lead, probably a lead against any other team that would have secured them the victory. But Dakota came back and I think surprised everyone with with a win that was more than 2 points. So
Well, I mean, I don't know if you can call it a. The fact that they went to overtime to start with shows how close the game was, and it really was the momentum, I think, carried over from that fourth quarter to the overtime where we saw Dakota Cassidy, the majority of his points, I think 10 of his points came in the last 6 minutes, and
yeah,
all of them were high impact.
well, I think Huntsville really kind of just gave it their all in the last quarter of regulation play. They did absolutely everything they could to prevent Dakota from coming back, and it just wasn't enough. And you could really see that in overtime play that Huntsville was just done.
Physically and mentally, possibly.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of a surprise here with Dakota in general, especially missing one of their starters. It was really they kind of looked like their old selves in a way. Their tenacity in this game kind of rivals uh, uh, what we've seen from Dakota maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So I even though they're pretty low in the standings right now, I think this could be the start of a comeback for them, especially if they can see that they can beat Huntsville with one man down.
One girl
Or
down.
one man down. Excuse me. Um, you know that they can take on some of these tougher teams that in the beginning of the season maybe they weren't quite playing together so well, just kind of finding their groove. But now this is almost proof of concept that they can kind of push with just a tenacious spirit, and even if the fundamentals of teamwork isn't really gelled, they can still kind of push through that and pull off a win.
Yeah, and Huntsville definitely, again, you're going to lose some games in the FBA. Don't take this loss as a discouragement. Take it as something to light a fire under you, because, again, these guys and gals are very talented. I would be shocked if Huntsville did not make the playoffs this year and went far in the playoffs. Uh, Dakota, for whatever reason tonight, just managed to stay in it until Huntsville finally broke. Uh, really looking at how the score broke down, you saw a pretty even distribution for Huntsville outside of Prahatovic taking over the scoring, whereas for Dakota, they had 4 players score and that was it. That was their 4 real starters, and then I think between the other 8 players, I'd be shocked if they broke 20 points in a 116-point game, or a 120-point game almost. The bench didn't score more than 20 points. But as we wrap everything up, the next Sports Den will in fact be coming live from uh, the All-Star Game and the Rookie Challenge. That will be coming up over the weekend of February 24th through the 28th. Thank you for joining me, everyone. I've been Ryan Eastman, and thanks for joining me once again, Waylon.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And good night, everyone.